my dazzling guest, Brian, Pradeep, Hitendra, my scintillating fellow club masters, Toastmasters, my stunning guests, and my fellow road takers. I, Milind Kulapkar, Sergeant of Arms, welcome you all, the enchanting, enthralling, and engrossing 655th meeting of the club number 1254322 in Area 1 of Division B of District 92. Yes, your own Speech Weavers Toastmaster Club, Bangalore. Theme, Moment of Truth. Moment of Truth. Our club's mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal growth. Toastmasters have helped people with diverse backgrounds to become more confident communicators and leaders. I request you all to uphold the cardinal principle of every Toastmasters meeting. Keep your audio microphone muted at all times, except when you are invited to speak. Keep your video on at all times, unless you're moving in and out of the room. As an encouragement to every role takers and speakers, make sure to applaud them virtually. Role takers and speakers will consciously refrain from speaking and expressing their views on sex, politics, and religion to ensure the sentiments of audience are not hurt. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our club president, who was seen live on television while shaking hands with the King of Saudi Arabia and the King of Bahrain during the inaugural ceremony of the first desalination plant in Saudi Arabia, commissioned under his supervision. This was during his 30 years long stay in Saudi Arabia, where he was heading various civil engineering projects as an active consulting engineer for civil and electromechanical plants. So please join me in welcoming our club president, Toastmaster Joseph Benedict.
Thank you, Milanji, for the amazing introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I open the meeting number 655 in order. I have a special invitation. Guests have been invited. I acknowledge General Evaluator Role Taker Hitendra from I Speak Toastmaster Club, Bangalore. Brian Edwards, Stock Post Speakers, United Kingdom. Sounddeep from Newtown Toastmaster Club, Kolkata. Amita Rao from Garden City Toastmaster Club, Bangalore. A warm welcome to all of you for showing the interest in taking a part in our meeting as a role player. That was very kind of every one of you. On the 8th of this month, the world has celebrated the International Women's Day. From my heart, I wish every women Toastmasters and the Toastmaster families and the guests, women guests and the guest of the men guests and their families, a warm wishes on this occasion of Women's Day. This is a global day celebrating the socio-economic culture and political achievements of women. The day marks a call to accelerating women's equality. International Women's Day occurred for over a century. The first gathering of International Women's Day was in the year 1911, supported by 1 million people of the world. And today, the IWD, that is International Women's Day, belongs to all groups, collectively everywhere. It's not a country or a group or an organization specific. The campaign theme is break the bias. That is what the women wanted. The next celebration is what is known as the spring. The spring celebration almost all over the world also, in different ways and performance. In Bangalore, the Spring Festival is denoted by a holy, what is known as a color festival. This festival of colors, it is all over the world. It's one of the famous spring festivals around the world also. A funfair, fan and frolic. It is celebrated by putting herbal colors on the faces and throw water on the friends and relatives by celebrating the colorful event. The night before Holi, there is a bonfire. It is to celebrate the triumph of good over evil, where the fire kills all the germs in the air and giving us a purify the atmosphere so that we step into celebrous summer. This is free summer. Usually, in all over the world, for example, in Thailand, a mass water fight, people splash chilling water over each other, celebrating the another version of Holi in Thailand, and one of the bizarrest spring festivals around the world. Every year they celebrate this in the month of April. In Switzerland, also a happy for winter festival, celebrated burning effigies of a person which is made of cloth. They called it as boog. It represents the end of winter by burning the man and with the fireworks, and they celebrated with also making a parade, humorous speeches, one of the most common traditions around the world. In Guatemala, the festival of Easter week. The spring comes in the festival of Easter week because the spring extends from March to May, where the first train starts in Bangalore. Elaborate parades are carried out in Guatemala town with ornamental and different costumes dressed, and wooden floats weigh 100 pounds each and carried by lots of hands to mark this holiday, celebrating in spring. Since spring celebrations also in USA with the tulip time in Holland. This Holland is a small town in what, not in the Europe, but it is a small town in Michigan in USA. 6 million tulips bloom on that day, marking the spring season. Millions of people gathered and attend this festival of tulip. They call it as tulip festivals of the day during the spring season. Introduce one of our of this Women's Day, who will play the joke master to you, because every meeting has to have some sort of humor and laughing is required. I invite the Wonder Woman Toastmaster Sushma. Over to you, Toastmaster Sushma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such amazing introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Please consider them as jokes, not to see from real perspective. Schools have reopened, and on the first day of the school, teacher asks one of the students, "What are your parents' names?" Then the student replies, "My father name is Laughing. My mother name is Smiling." Teacher was surprised to know such peculiar names. Then she asks, "Are you kidding?" Then he says, "Kidding is my brother, and I am smiling." The another one goes like this. Math class is going on. Math teacher asks one of the student. He was explaining, A is equal to B. B is equal to C. Then A is equal to C. He asks the student, "Give me one practical example of this principle from real life." Then the student says, "Very simple, sir. I love you, sir. You love your daughter," which means I love your daughter. So then the next one goes like this. English class is happening. Then the teacher, he asks one student to correct the sentence. He gives the sentence, "Bull and cow is grazing in the field. Please correct the sentence." One of the child raises his hand and says, "Sir, cow and bull is grazing in the field." So sir asks, "What is the difference?" I asked, "Bull and cow is grazing in the field, and you said cow and bull is grazing in the field." Then he said, "Sir, always ladies are first." English class is going on. So one of the student who is very curious to know many things, he asks ma'am, "Ma'am, why few letters are not pronounced? Why do we ignore few letters in the words like honor and honest? The H letter, why do we ignore?" So ma'am says, "No, these are not ignored. We are not ignoring. These are considered as silent." He was more confused. During the lunch break, ma'am gives her lunch pack and asks, she calls the same student and asks to eat in the cafeteria. After some time, he comes back with the lunch box and gives her. She opens and she finds it empty. So he asks, "What happened? Where is my lunch pack? Where is the food?" Then he says, "Ma'am, I considered H in the heat." So you can think of what would have happened. So yes, another one goes like this. In English class, teacher asks the students to use bean sentence. So one of the students says, "My father grows beans in our kitchen." And another student says, "My mom cooks beans very deliciously." So the third student says, "Sir, we all are human beings." So yes, these are the ones. Adarsh, do we have time for? Yes.
I think time is over.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sushma, the Wonder Woman, has delivered the beautiful jokes. Now, before I could go back to introduce the Toastmaster of the day, I would like to remind all the Toastmaster members of the Speech Weavers Club, it is time for renewal. Without renewal, the club cannot run, and the club points will be added if the early renewal, and club will get an award. Every Toastmaster of this club is requested to remind themselves that you have to help the Speech Weavers Club a good award in renewing your membership timely and even before time to get the credit for the club. Now, we have here our Toastmaster sibling. I call him because he is the youngest person in our club. Very energetic, very enthusiastic, very devoted, very alert. In everything, he is superlative. He has his own company and he works for that very honestly, with all the integrity and hard work. He brings up the company very much. He's added asset to the Toastmaster Club in all aspects of his duty, role, and responsibilities of the club, which I really appreciate. I welcome Toastmaster Adarsh. Toastmaster Adarsh, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Toastmasters and guests. By show of hands, I would like to ask you a question. I would like to ask, how many of you once told your parents that you were going out to school, although you were actually going out to play with your friends? Come on, by show of hands, how many of you have done it? All right, then, I'm going to move to another question. How many of you committed a mistake, but pointed the finger at somebody else after you did it? Come on, by show of hands. I'm sure all of you have done it. I'm sure it must have been very difficult for you to confess, but don't worry, your parents are not here. It's just me, everybody at the club. All of us are here confessing, and that's exactly what we're about to do today. But before that, I'd like to ask you another question. By show of hands, how many of you regret having done what you have done after all of these years? Show of hands, how many of you regretted it? Yes, I can see Brian raising his hand. It's quite clear that he regrets having done something that he did many years ago. But it doesn't really matter. All of us deserve second chances at the end of the day. You might ask, why second chances? Well, the answer to the question is simple. All of us make mistakes and we are worthy of a second chance. What a second chance does is it gives you the opportunity to redesign, rethink, and restart. And that's exactly what we're going to do at Speech Weavers Toastmasters Club today. We are going to take this opportunity to think about all the things that we've done in the last year that we feel is not right and put things right going into this term. And that is the whole objective of a meeting we conduct called the Moments of Truth. So before I get into that, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today, because I'm sure it must have not been easy whatsoever. But anyway, Moments of Truth, you might ask. Well, it's something that we're going to conduct at the end of the session, and it's specifically for members. So you will be tasked, or rather, I'll be putting you into breakout rooms, and I'll be hosting it, by the way. I, your Vice President Education, will be hosting this event, and I'll be throwing you into breakout rooms with a couple of others who'll be there to discuss a few points that I will obviously mention, and that is with regards to the club and its status. Now that's enough of that. Let's get back to the point again. Life can be so difficult when you lie, if I'm not wrong. It can be so difficult. It can leave you so guilty at the end of the day. I'm sure all of you feel a sense of guilt when you lie. You feel a sense of regret when you do something you're not supposed to do. But again, truth is not something that gives you comfort, but rather it gives you something called liberalization. So when you feel liberalized, the feeling of being liberalized is a lot better compared to feeling a sense of comfort when you've done something wrong, if I'm not wrong. Now, all of us will be given the opportunity to tell the truth when our table topics master, Toastmaster Bidu, steps up. to offer you topics, but that's a different story for another day, or probably for the same day. But let's get back to the point. The biggest confession I'd like to make today is that Toastmasters has changed my life forever. And for all the guests present in the room, or even for the members, I'd like to tell you that Toastmasters is an international organization with presence in over presence in over 145 countries, and there are over 16,200 clubs across the world, and all of them only have one objective, and that is to empower individuals to develop public speaking and leadership skills so that they can feel better as leaders and speakers in real life. At Speechweavers, it's not any different. We are a 13-year-old club aspiring to do the same thing. We wish to make sure or create this environment where all of us can come learn while being supported by each other. Now, our meetings are divided into 3 distinct parts. We start with something called a prepared speech session, and then we move to something called a table topic session. And to cap things off, we have the evaluation session. The prepared speech session is something that is totally exclusive for the members, and the members will be tasked with presenting a speech based on the project and pathway they've opted for. And as for table topics, well, this is something that is totally open for all guests and members of the club. All of you will get the opportunity of putting your impromptu speaking skills to test when our table topics master steps up to deliver a topic that you've probably never heard of before. Last but not the least, none of us will get better until we are told by someone how we can get better. And that's why we have someone called a general evaluator. A general evaluator will have a bunch of evaluators under him that he himself will introduce. But for that, I would like all of you to stick around. We are going to have the moments of truth, but of course, it is for the members. But don't worry, you have a special store. We have a special session in store for you. And for that, I'd like to hand it back to our president for now, Toastmaster Joseph, to introduce the general evaluator.
Adarsh, can you please
Yes, sir.
the evaluators for the speech?
So we have to introduce the general evaluator, Toastmaster Hitendra. Yes.
Our guest today from the Toastmaster Club of Bangalore, Toastmaster Hitendra, who will take over as a general evaluator. Toastmaster Hitendra, over to you.
Thank you, President Joseph. So, Toastmaster, in our journey of making us great public speakers and leaders, what is at the heart of it is continuous improvement. All of us are at some level, and then we are trying to improve continuously, go beyond what we have and achieve our goals in life, right? Life, career, wherever. So as the general evaluator, my role is to help in this continuous improvement journey for this club. And I will be observing all proceedings of this session and give my feedback towards the end, or give some share the observations with the team so that they can improve continuously in the future. And in my job, since I cannot observe each and everything, I do have somebody to help me in this. That's the TAC team. TAC T is for timer, A is for our counter, and grammarian. And then we also have a special role called listener. So first of all, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Somadev for introducing his role as the timer today. Toastmaster Somadev.
Thank you, General Evaluator, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is Shomodi Banerjee, the timer of today's meeting. As a timer, I'm going to keep record of all the timings that will be taken by you during the speech. I'm going to remind you whenever you cross your timing. For doing that, I am going to share my screen. I'm going to flash a green card when you reach the minimum time, yellow card when you reach the mean time, and red card when you reach the maximum time. For example, in case of a prepared speeches, which is about 5 to 7 minutes, I will flash the green card in 5 minutes, yellow card in 6 minutes, and red card in 7 minutes. For table topics, the corresponding, the respective timings would be 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and 2 minutes. For prepared speeches, you have a grace period of 30 seconds, both on the lower side as well as the upper side. For example, you can speak anytime between 4.5 minutes to 7.5 minutes. However, in case of a table topic speeches, you don't have a grace period on the lower side. You only have the grace period on the upper side. That means you have to speak for a minimum of about 1 minute. That's all from my end. I will present my report at the end of the meeting when I'm called for doing so. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samarip. Just a quick confirmation. Are you going to share your screen or are you going to change your background for showing the card?
I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, I'm not sure. Today's speaker, is the speaker going to have any presentation? Will that disturb the speaker?
I don't think so. You can go ahead.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Toastmaster Samadhi, for explaining your role. Let's go to aha counter and listener, Toastmaster Brian Edwards. If you can explain your role, both roles as a aha counter and listener.
Thank you, General Evaluator. As my role of our counter today, the reason why we have our counters obviously is to point out to the speakers, the participants, that when you use fill-in words like ooh, I like, this sort of thing, it detracts from your actual message that you're trying to convey. So part of the evaluation context is to tell the speaker, inform the speaker that by using and and all these full-in words, it's a distraction. So it's not a criticism. So my role as our counter is to try to count the number of fill-in words and report back. As a listener, the role of this listener is to sort of ask the audience at the end of the meeting whether in fact they have listened carefully to whatever is being conveyed by the various participants, so that it draws attention to the fact that we are here at the meeting, not just to show our pretty faces, well, not in my case pretty, but to listen to what's being said, which gives the speakers a little bit more kudos in their message. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brian. That was really an excellent introduction to both the roles. And I hope people are a lot more attentive now, understanding the listener role. And then the third supporting role we have is the grammarian role, and today it's being played by Toastmaster Nitin. So Toastmaster Nitin, if you can explain your role to the club members, it will be great. Toastmaster Nitin.
Sorry, my connection was unstable.
I think Toastmaster Nitin is experiencing, yes, Toastmaster Nitin is here.
Good evening and welcome all the Toastmasters and guests. Today, my role is as a grammarian. I will be pointing out and noting down all the good usages of phrases and good uses of words in your sentences or in your speech. And I will also check out if any discrepancies in your speech or in your phrasing system and your grammar mistakes. And there is a little task that I think every one of you can perform in a good way, which is there will be a word of the day, which is apocryphal. Apocryphal. The meaning is being of questionable authority. Apocryphal, being of questionable authority. You can use it like the story is probably apocryphal, but the import isn't. So whenever you use this word, I'll give you a thumbs up symbol and I'll note it down and present my report when called upon. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, grammarian Toastmaster Nitin. It's great. And with the introduction of team, we are all set for the session. You know who is observing, who is not observing. I will share my feedback towards the end of it. And back to you, President Joseph, for the rest of the presidents. Thank you.
Thank you for role that you have really played very well in asking all the roles of the tag team. Thank you so much. I will hand over the stage to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joseph, for having introduced our general evaluator and our tag team. Now we're going to move ahead to the first segment of our Toastmasters meeting, which is the prepared speech session. We initially had around 2 speeches prepared, but we have one, and that one is going to be very exciting, and it's going to be delivered by our president himself. Our president is known to be very exciting, energetic, and we consider him to be the youngest person in the room because of his ability to handle things and his willingness to do anything, no matter what is given to him. It can be, you can ask him to use the internet. I mean, a lot of people at that age don't use it. My grandfather is around 85 years old and he can barely use his phone, but he's doing an incredible job with that. And he's the president of our club. He is none other than Toastmaster Joseph, his title. Oh, but before that, I'd like to introduce his evaluator for today. Our evaluator, his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Anita. Toastmaster Anita is from Garden City Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Anita, would you mind stating Joseph Sir's speech objectives?
Absolutely not. And in fact, I'm very sorry. I'm in Infosys cafeteria after finishing an offline meeting. But yeah, to a very special hello to Joseph Sir, and he's doing his level 4 project 1. The purpose of his speech is to practice developing a plan for building a team and fulfilling how to go about it. And the purpose of the first speech will be to practice developing that plan and how he's going to go about it. So all the very best, sir, and I look forward to seeing you during evaluation time. Over to you, Toastmaster Adarsh.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anita. Now we're going to go ahead. I think I've already introduced him. I don't think he needs any introduction, to be honest. He is none other than Toastmaster Joseph. His speech title will be One Motto. One Motto, Toastmaster Joseph.
Good evening once again, the Toastmasters and my distinguished guests. In the last speech about the project, 200 crore project plant, which is called One Motto, a 2-wheeler assembly plant, which we are fortunate to execute the plant because of our tender was approved. In other things, I have already explained the overview in my first speech. In that speech, they asked me, how did you able to employ the engineers who are deputed in this project? So it was by interview, because of their vast experience and their educational attainments. And that was the reason for them to employ in this project in the respective disciplines. They have done a meticulous job in supervising this project construction by complying with the quality control and quality aspects of the project work. During the construction period, the project works are generally discussed during the weekly meeting. And also, in the monthly meeting, it is discussed with not only the contractor and the consultant, even the client as well as the stakeholders. During this meeting, we always discuss the completion of the project progress and the milestone achieved. Also, we discuss if there is any impediment in the supply of materials, procurement delay, and other obstacles that hinder our project construction. Also, we discuss about the payments. The payments are made regularly, of course, during the completion of the work, and is inspected already by the client representative as well as the consultant representative for clearing our payments. There was some delay in the project work due to the material procurement. However, we overcome that delay with our critical path method. Sometimes we give also overtime to the workers in order to complete the civil works so that we could erect the mechanical and electrical equipments. We have done that. So it was a very essential part of the project completion. In course of our construction, we have taken care of the workers very much. We have given them a good accommodation and good and healthy food served every day, morning, evening, noon, as well as in the night time, with a celebrated dining hall for them. We have given them the uniform, and the company used to do all the laundry for them. We also given them the entertainment part, the outdoor games and the indoor games, as well as the TV and video, so that they could fit their body, mind, as well as the education. Now, coming to the workers who are reported sick, it is sometimes it is a minor accident or a little fever or some stress and strain. In our dispensary, the nurse takes care of. If there was one patient who was admitted for a day due to dehydration. We are connected to the nearest hospital. We called the doctor and he was healed. There was no loss prevention, and our report was given to the client that there is a nil report in the loss prevention that did not anyway impediment to the construction durations. After the completion of the works, we have made all the construction drawings to the approved as-built drawings and handed over to the client. Also, as per the part of the contract, we have a maintenance period, and this maintenance period was taken into consideration. First, after the first handing over, the punch list was prepared and all the punch lists were completed upon the inspection of client as well as the consultant as well as the stakeholders. When everything was completed, there was a period of maintenance after the first handover. We have done our maintenance very well, and there was no any backlog. The client was very happy and made a second handover to the client. Upon the consideration of the completion of the project and the maintenance period as well as the final handing over is done, they paid us our earnest deposit money. They gave us also no objection, no due certificate. They also gave the appreciation certificate. And in addition to that, a very great thing that they have given us is a dinner. The organization, always due to their gratitude upon our hard work and achievements, they gave us a dinner, and not only that, they gave us the award certificate as the best contractor award and the best management that we have done. And that was pleasing to the client and all to the stakeholders. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Joseph. It was truly brilliant of you. I have heard a lot from you over the years, and that is probably another fascinating thing that I've heard from you. But I'd like all of you to give a round of applause for our President, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Joseph Felix Benedict. All right, now. So we're going to move to the second segment of today's session, which is none other than the table topics round. The table topics round will be conducted by our very own Toastmaster Bidu. Toastmaster Bidu is a man of many interests, to be honest. He is a business manager at Baichung Bhutia Football Club, and he knows so much. He loves to write, he loves to read. Most recently, I happened to learn a thing about him. He loves the sport of cricket a lot. As a matter of fact, he also has this podcast that he runs with his friends, where he talks about cricket on a regular basis. I see him putting up something on Facebook. I see him putting up something on the cricket WhatsApp group that his friends and him have. There's just so much going on in Toastmaster Bidu's life, and I have nothing but the best to wish him. But right now, we're going to have the table topics round, and for that, I'd like to welcome Toastmaster Bidu. Toastmaster Bidu, The stage is yours.
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Since I'm the Zoom moderator, just let me manage Zoom a bit.
I'll take care of it, Toastmaster Bidu. It's mine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'll move on to the table topic. Good evening again, and I'm excited to host all of you into this most interesting segment of Toastmasters meeting, that is the table topic. The intended use of table topics is to develop the ability to organize our thoughts and to respond to impromptu topics. And because of which, I encourage all the guests and all the new Toastmasters to raise their hand and participate in this particular segment. Today, I'm going to take an interesting theme. We have always heard phrases from various people. Our elders used phrases like, as you sow, so you reap. Our generation uses phrases like, opportunity doesn't knock twice. Whereas the younger generation uses phrases like, you only live once. Some phrases outlast time, some are a fad, while some come back from the past and become trends, just like bell-bottom jeans. So all my topics are a phrase, and the person who I invite to has to speak for at least 2 minutes, because at 2 minutes you will be shown a red card, post which you will have a 30 seconds of grace period. I encourage healthy participation, and let me see if anyone is interested and shows my hand. So someone has to show his hand if he is interested. And I also request everyone to open the video if anyone is attempting this tabletop. I can see our SAA, Toastmasters Million, raised his hand. And I have an interesting topic, and I'm glad you took it up. So the topic for you is, age is just a number. I'm putting this in the chat box. Age is just a number. Over to you, Toastmasters Million.
As a kid, we aspired to become adult. We were wearing our parents' trousers, mother's dresses, because we wanted to grow up. As we became teen, we said, we are bigger than the small, tiny tots, and we should look down upon them. And then we used to have a rivalry among them. And then when someone calls you uncle, you fume. You get furious. Don't call me uncle. And when someone calls grandpa, you hit the roof. So this is something we have. So at different ages, we have different challenges, different aspirations. That's why they say, ignore the age. Age is just a number. If you have something to do, you can do any time when you feel like. If you have a bucket list, you can still do it. There are marathon runners who started running at the age of 79. Just 100 meters they started. And now at the age of 104, there's a couple of people who are running London marathons and whatnot. There are ladies who are sprinting at 100 meters at the age of 100. So again, there are kids who are doing mathematical calculations, which even put biggest computers at shame. So as they say, age is just a number. It doesn't matter. Whenever you want to have it, you can do it. So all that you require is a willpower. Just go to the Indian scripture. Shankaracharya, at the age of 32, passed away. At that young age, almost 2 centuries back, he traveled across the length and breadth of India, and whatever the country today we have, he set up the target. Okay, this is our northern part of India. This is the western part of the India. This is the eastern part, and he had centers over there. So by that, we can come to know the territory, the boundary of our country. So that is the thing, which someone wants to do it, he can do it. So that's why it is said, was my table topic master, that age is just a number. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters Million. Some of the things that you said, I could personally relate to, especially the marathon part, because I am also a marathon runner. and we have quite a bit of age gap between us. And Speechweavers Club also has people from across age groups, and which shows that if you want to pursue something, you don't have to look at your age. My second topic, I would like to invite Toastmasters Cyril Paul, if he is present. Can I get a heads up from you, Toastmasters Cyril?
Hey, hi.
Hi. Nice to have you. And the topic for you is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I repeat, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Over to you, Toastmasters Cyril.
Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Something which I've heard since childhood, when I was probably in the first standard. At that point of time, in fact, even when I was smaller, when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, at that point of time, it was about carrying an extra diaper with you when you're going out. As life progressed, when I was in school, it was about carrying an extra pair of pencils and erasers. School moved to college, and it was about carrying an extra pair of books, extra pair of other stuff that you can always fall back on. This is probably one proverb or one piece of advice that's always stood the test of time. And hopefully this is something that will stand the test of time the way it is, hoping for the best and expecting the worst. They say that the world will not go to the optimists. They may be a little too rainbow colored. The world will not go to pessimists. They'll ruin it. The world would go to someone who's a mix of both. An optimist who would hope for the best, yet a prudent person who will expect the worst and prepare for it. The Boy Scouts is something which several of us boys would have attended when we were in school. And they have a motto that reflects exactly this. Be prepared. Be prepared for every single eventuality that you can. Those of you who are comic book enthusiasts, there is someone called Batman who actually lives this. He's prepared for every single eventuality. Hope for the best, expect the worst is what all the leaders do in their daily life. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Cyril, for your interesting take on this particular topic. I enjoyed it. Now moving on, I got a request from our grammarian, Toastmasters Nitin. Toastmasters Nitin, the topic for you is, you learn more from the world than from the book. I repeat, you learn more from the world than from the book. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vidhu, for such a wonderful topic. So you learn more from the world than from the book. Yeah, that's really true. And one of the example for me is Toastmasters itself. Books, they give a lot of information, but world, they give you practical knowledge, is what I believe always. So I read a lot of books, such as novels and sort of. But let me start with a journey in Toastmasters. When I started journey in Toastmasters, I was not well versed with all of you, and I'm not even well mingled with many of the people outside. As I already told in my speech, I was such an introvert. I usually stayed with my books and not with people. But once I stepped out into the world, I saw many experiences in the world where I got many friends, and now I got a lot many more even in Toastmasters. So you see, many people learn more from the world. Even Albert Einstein to our great Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji even told the same once. World teaches you a lot more than the books too. Coming to my case, the world taught me one thing, that people doesn't stay the same. I used to have a few friends, a few, 2 or 3 to be counted. But once I started to go on in the lifetime, all of them changed. The world taught me that people doesn't remain the same forever. This is what I learned. And books gave me a lot of information. They gave one more example. Let it be what I saw is about a waterfalls. Yeah, I saw a beautiful image of waterfalls in books and even in the internet. But once I visited there, it was astonishing that there are no water in that. And what they told to me is the water was not there from past 2 years. And I was shocked. Really? Yes. There will be many things changing. Books doesn't change, but world changes. Thank you. And over to you, Mr. Bidhu.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters Nitin. Now I would request Toastmasters or probably a guest, Sonu Nagar. Sonu Nagar, if you are here, please give me a heads up that you are interested to participate.
Hi, Toastmaster Das. Yeah, am I spelling right? Yeah, Das.
Yes, yes,
I am
you're
here.
audible. Okay.
Sure,
Would
I
you
will
like to
like
try
to
one
take.
topic?
Sure, I will like to take up one.
All right. So if it is okay, you can also switch on your video so that we can spotlight you.
Okay, but I actually using my another laptop, so it's not able to switch on. Is it
No
okay?
problem. So you can just, yes, we can hear your voice clearly. So the topic for you is, it is better late than never. I repeat, it is better late than never.
Okay, it is better late than never. That was very great topic. I just want to go flashback to my college life and my 11th, 12th life when I just doing learning things at that time. I enjoyed my life in my friends and all my bullshit things that I can say in my college life. And at that time I was just thinking that still life is very long. I Let's enjoy the life. It's not be complete here. Let's enjoy the life we have, whole life like that. Thinking about that when we started our college life, it was like okay, we just started our college life. We have a 4 years, we will learn a lot more. There are 4 years. Coming to second year, still we have a 3 years. Third year, still we have 1 year, we will do something. The college will completed almost, but I was doing nothing. I don't know what I have to do in my career as well. So I think that was when I completed my college, and I realized, oh my god, my fourth year also completed, and I even don't know what I have to do next. And then my results come, final year result, and I think I was thinking that there is a too much time, but it's really a late. The thing one ka kal karo so aaj karo so ab, that is actually a very good thought, and we have to do. If you have to plan something today, do today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Same as in my work, I wait for weekends come, I will do. But actually, it's not happen. So that is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonu Nagar. I think at the beginning of the meeting, when Toastmasters of the day, Adarsh told us about an anecdote, like how many of you said that we are going to school and did not go to school. Many of us raised their hands, and the situation that you explained, Sonu, that in college we just delay our semester exam preparation. It is much more relatable to me than the school part. So thank you for sharing this anecdote. And I'm moving on to the next person. I would like to invite our timer, Somyadip, to take up one topic.
Yes, sure.
And the topic for you is.
It's all right.
You can take my
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adarsh, for this multitasking thing. So Somyadip, the topic for you is 2 important days of your life are 1, when you are born, and 2, when you realize why you are born. I repeat, 2 important days of your life are 1, when you are born, and 2, when you realize why you are born. Over to you.
Thank you, Table Topic Master Bidu, for such a nice topic. So definitely, I agree with you. The day when I was born is a significant day, right? If that day wasn't there, then I would not have been sitting over here. I would not have been, playing the role of timer, right? So yes. However, the second realization why I was born, I think I am too young to realize this. I believe there are a lot of things that I can do in my life that would take years to for me to realize. For example, say when I took up engineering just before that, I thought I am perfect for that. Okay, I was actually good in engineering. I actually ranked pretty well over there. 2 years into my job, I realized, okay, engineering is okay, but I think I am better suited for something else. I switched my company. I'm so initially I was working in a design role. Now I'm working in operations role, different role completely. Even now I'm thinking that okay, this might not be a fit for me. Let's try something else. This is life, right? You would realize one day, probably when I reach the age of 50s, then I realized that okay, this is something that was perfect for me. I don't think that that day would come anytime soon. And this is about life. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster, table topic master Vidhu. You're muted.
You are in mute.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Soumyadev, for this attempt. And I have one final topic, and I want someone to raise their hand if they want to attempt, or I'll choose someone. Momina, are you willing to take part?
Yeah, sure. Not an issue.
Thank you so much. Request you to put your video on, and you have done it. All right. So the topic for you is home is where heart is. I repeat, home is where heart is. Over to you.
Home is such a place. Whatever, wherever you are, you feel more relaxed. Because when you're out and with your people and other people, many times we may not feel comfortable also. And home is such a place, you are sad, you are happy, you can share with your family every feeling. They will understand you. They will be with you in every situation. Outside friends will be there, but we are not sure how happy, how comfortable they will be with us. But home is such a place where you will feel a comfort zone in every condition. And that's why you will see, although we are working anywhere, and at the end of the day, we rush to the home because there we feel comfortable. We are into ourselves. We wear whatever we want to wear. We remain how we want to be. We eat whatever we want to eat. And we remain calm, cool, and do whatever we want to do. So home is such a place where you enjoy your life with your family, with your near one, with your dear ones. And there you feel that this is a place where I can stay forever. And that's why you will see the older people, they love their houses. They don't like to go anywhere living. They may be going out, but at the end of the day, evening, they will say, no, I want to go back to my home. They get to sleep only in their house, only in the corner where they sleep. They're more comfortable with that and nowhere else. You take them to the best of the places, but the home is where their heart is, and they will prefer to be over there only. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Momina. Yes, home is where heart is, and all the things that you mentioned, comfort, being yourself, being with family, it's something we all cherish. It's not only for the older people. I think a lot of youngsters also prefer going back to home, irrespective of where they travel and where they work. So with this, I conclude my table topic session. I thank everyone who participated in it. I enjoyed hosting you. And over to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Bidhu. That was a bag of fun, if I'm not wrong. So many table topics and so many great responses. All of them, wonderful job. I cannot wait to hear from you again. And I'm pretty confident that all of us in this room have a very relatable feeling. But regardless, we're going to move to the next segment, which is the photo session. And for that, I'd like to hand it back to our president, Toastmaster Joseph, who will be introducing our photographer.
Thank you, Adarsh. I call upon Toastmaster Nitin to take a photograph. All of you open your videos and give a big smile.
I request everyone to switch on your videos. Yeah, with your smile, obvious. That was great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nitin. Over to you, Toastmaster Adarsh.
Thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Joseph. With that, we are through with the photo session. But last but not the least, none of us can actually get better without constructive feedback, if I'm not wrong. For constructive feedback, we have ourselves the general evaluator today. But before that, I'd like to call upon our speech evaluator to evaluate Toastmaster Joseph's speech. Our evaluator for today is Toastmaster Anita. Toastmaster Anita, would you like to evaluate Toastmaster Joseph's speech?
Hey, hi guys. And especially to my target speaker, Toastmaster Joseph. I don't think anybody would have evaluated on the move, but thank you for having me. And what a speech, Joseph, sir. If the statement "God lies in the details" did not have a meaning till yesterday, today after your speech, it definitely will have. Because any speech which talks about plan or execution has to have a lot of details, right? And I feel like your speech covered exactly that. The introduction, the body, and the conclusion, all through, the process was laid out very, very well. The right kind of questions to boost the productivity were raised. Things, the details about, say, frequency of the review and what is the impact of those review and the progress, the way the backlogs were being handled. I think the way the whole content was peppered with detailing was, I feel, something that really stood out for me. So these are, and of course, Joseph, I think, delivered the speech in his with his usual candor, where I feel like there was absolutely like not a hair out of place. He felt completely at home talking about the project of 200 crores, which means he has clearly worked on it firsthand in a very, very hands-on way. So that's something where you excelled at, Joseph. Now, a few things which I feel you could consider differently to make the speech much more impactful. Firstly, 200 crores is a pretty impressive number. I mean, I do think for anybody, it's a decent number. So maybe rather than say that, okay, today I'm going to talk about this project A, B, C, D, etc., you could just say not 2 rupee, not 20 rupee, not 20,000, not 2 lakh, not 2 crore, not 20 crores, 200 crores. That's the plan I'm going to talk to all of you today about. So I feel like if you were to say something like that, then that would have made the introduction to your speech much more punchier. Or maybe to build some amount of audience engagement, you probably could have said, how many of you have worked on a project that's as large as 200 crores and managing 56 people? Nobody? I'm counting my stars because I definitely am the lucky one. And today I'm going to share the secret of how to make that successfully happen. So that could be another way you could have basically engaged with the audience. And in the ending also, maybe a personal learning that you derived because you executed such a big plan and because you worked with multiple stakeholders, because you spoke about contractors, you spoke about consultants, you spoke about customers. So regarding all the stakeholders, you had mentioned a lot of details. So what is one learning that you probably got for yourself as a result of managing this whole plan? I feel sharing that would have rounded up the learning of the speech in a much more powerful manner. However, like I said, you continue to be an inspiration to all new speakers just because of the ease with which you show up on the stage week after week. Please continue the same, and next time just add a bit more punch in terms of the voice modulation and the body language and questioning, and I think I would love to keep seeing you. On that note, thank you so much, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much for that impressive evaluation, Toastmaster Anita. Now I'd like to hand over the stage to our general evaluator who is spearheading his evaluation team, Toastmaster Hitendra. Toastmaster Hitendra, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Adarsh. And continuing the speech evaluation, I think Toastmaster Anita, what an evaluator you are, amazing, perfect observations and great improvement suggestions. Very, very positive feedback. I really loved it. And Toastmaster Joseph, I have nothing to add on top of what Toastmaster Anita said. Hats off to your management skills and driving the project successfully. Great. Coming to general feedback for the session, I think my observations are definitely not going to be apocryphal, but improvement suggestions that I'm going to give, those may be to some of you. So take it with a pinch of salt and see if we really want to make any improvements. As a club, it's a club's decision to see what we really want to do from improvements perspective. One thing I want to call out today is I witnessed something different than regular Toastmaster sessions today, particularly with the flow, how the flow of this whole session was managed. And we'll talk through that as we go further in the evaluations. Before starting anything else, let's go towards our tag team and get their feedback so that we can include that also as a part of the general evaluation. So first of all, I would like to call timer Toastmaster Somadip to provide your report. Toastmaster Somadip.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, give a huge round of applause for all of you today because everyone has qualified for voting. So as you can see, the prepared speaker, Toastmaster Joseph, took 6 minutes 31 seconds. His evaluated Toastmaster Anita took 3 minutes 17 seconds. When I come to table topics, Toastmaster Milind took 2 minutes 21 seconds. Toastmaster Cyrus took 1 minute 32 seconds. Toastmaster Nitin took 2 minutes 21 seconds. Guest Sonu took 2 minutes 7 seconds. Toastmaster Shomodip took 1 minute 31 seconds. And guest Momina took 1 minute 41 seconds. Thank you, and over to you, General Level.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Somadip. This was amazing. I think this club has mastered the time management art, and I see most of our session is also running on time. So that's great. All the speakers, all the organizers access for the session, everybody is following the agenda. That's really great. Now let's go to the Toastmaster Brian for the R counter report. And Toastmaster Brian, only R counter report, please. We'll come to the listener part later.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Just before I start, I would like to mention this is not a criticism. This is a feedback so that people could improve their speaking skills. General Evaluator, your that came across at least 6 times. I'm sorry to report back. Toastmaster Banerjee, 3 times. Nitin, some of the words you use like yeah. Yeah is not a word. It's a German word for yes. We are in an English Toastmasters club. So try to avoid slang. Also try to avoid words like sort of. That is a slang. Also many, too many times. Sonia Naga, okay, you don't start off a sentence by saying okay. You know, like, oh my God. These are all slang things. And if you're wanting to improve your English, try to avoid using words and slang like that. Mina, you use the word we at least 5 times. You used once, only twice. Anita Rao, you used the word hi guys. Now, there was a situation in England some time ago when primary school girls wrote to their teacher saying, please don't refer to us as hi guys, we are girls. And the education authority had to put that into their governing advice. So don't use hi guys, please. Also don't use you know, basically a lot of, these are not very good words to use. So that is what I have observed. I will come back on my listening report later on. Back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brian. And you don't have to be sorry for pointing out any of this. This is for everybody's improvement. I know everybody understands here. So great job on reporting all the ums and ahs and other crutch words everybody is using. Thank you. And now let's call our grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Nitin, if you can provide your report. Toastmaster Nitin.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Today in the meeting, There are many good usages of words, something like cherished, unquestionable, and phrases that are Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Adarsh used, bag of fun, and Anita Rao in her evaluation used constructive feedback, boost the productivity, was prepared with usual candor, punchier, driving the project. And there are a few little corrections for the topic speakers. Toastmaster Sonu Nagar, she used the topic was a good one. Instead of that, she should have used the topic is a good one. And Toastmaster Momina or guest Momina, although we work anywhere, instead of that, wherever we work will be good. And word of the day was used only by one person, Toastmaster Hitendra, and kudos to Toastmaster Hitendra. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nitin. So all of you observed timer provided report. We are good at time management. Amazing. Keep it up. Our counter, we know where our ums and ahs and where we which crutch words we use. I use just now. So yeah, we need to be watchful of this and continuously improve. And grammarian, thank you very much for your keen ears and listening everything and reporting out the good usage and rest of the report. Now coming to the overall session, we started on time with a DTM Million, Distinguished Toastmaster Million, amazing with a full of energy. You kicked off the session, and good thing is Toastmaster Joseph, as the presiding officer and president of the club, continued with the same energy, talked about International Women's Day, and shared some interesting facts about the Spring Festival. Very nice opening for the session, and he introduced the Jokes Master later. Toastmaster Sushma, she is not here, I believe, but amazing. She has been really excellent. This is my probably third or fourth session with her. She playing the role of as a jokes master. Really good. And the effort she has put into playing this role is immediately seen from her performance today. It's a great job. Then we had Toastmaster Adarsh coming again, continuing the same energy. That's one good thing I observed here. The energy levels didn't go down anywhere. So I think that's really great, and we should continue maintaining that. Toastmaster Adarsh again asked for questions and introduce the theme through the questions. Really well started with that. And now there was a slight glitch, right? The flow I observed for the first time in any session where Toastmaster Adarsh, the TMOD of the day, handed over control back to the presiding officer for the G introduction. So this is something different I have observed. In most of the sessions, what I observed is Toastmaster of the day himself introduces the G and continues with the session. So that may be something you may want to think about whether you want those quick transitions or not, just to improve the flow, to avoid too many switches that may not be looking good or giving a good feeling to a lot of guests here and also the Toastmasters. And again, maybe there is a little bit of coordination needed, who is going to introduce whom, and the introductions need to be kept ready, etc. That's a preparation part of it, but all of us need to work on the preparation. So let's see if we can improve that in future. After that, we had the speaker, the evaluators were introduced well by the Toastmaster. The speaker was also introduced very well. And the speech was amazing. The evaluation was equally amazing, and we already talked about it. Then comes our table topics master of the day. I think the introduction Toastmaster Adarsh gave for the table topics master was very good, and table topic master did an amazing job. Again, maintaining the energy, that is very important. So Toastmaster Bidu as a table topic master not only maintain the energy, introduce the table topics section very well. Again, called out the timings and other things, and the topics. Wow, I have made note of all your topics. Definitely, these are very nice topics for any club to think about having in their club. You really made people think, and at the same time, it was something that everybody has maybe a guilt feeling or some sort of childish feeling in their mind. Probably it came out through your table topics today. all the table topic speakers spoke their heart. That was really good. DTM Milan and all the guests as well participated very well. There was one more observation, as I was saying, which was slightly different from other clubs, and this may be a coordination issue as well. Like a timer, Toastmaster Samadhi for sharing screen for the timer cards. And I observed Toastmaster Adarsh when you were timing Toastmaster Samadhi, when you were speaking table topics, you use your background. So maybe we should have that consistent method of using the background, which is used by most of the clubs. It's used in the contest as well. So all the Toastmasters are already used to it, and the new Toastmasters or guests, it's probably they can easily get used to the standard methods which are followed everywhere. So maybe something to consider going forward. I'm not sure. Toastmasters Samadhi, are you from the same club or from different club? Probably from different club,
Yes,
right?
I'm from Newtown.
Okay, yeah, that's what I remember. So maybe, yeah, that's a little bit of coordination, the club procedures, something to sync up. And obviously, it can be an improvement as well. For example, there was one club where I visited. They actually showed the time. When they shared the screen, they had a timer screen and it showed actual time, how much time is left and so on. So people got the speakers used to get to the seconds. So it can be an improvement as well. It cannot be put into background, but when you share your screen, that's an additional thing. At least personally, I felt that sharing the screen is a little bit distracting since everybody's focusing on the speaker. All of a sudden something flickers and the cards, your screen starts sharing, right? So that's something maybe you may want to consider. And from the home club perspective, you may want to consider coordinating well with the outsiders to make sure the flow is understood, as well as the processes that your club follows, so that nobody has any doubts or the session goes smoothly. I think that's pretty much from my side. And now actually I wanted to ask now for the home club. We don't have listener role in our club, but in the home club, how do you follow? Do you follow Toastmaster? Do you take listener right at the end of the session, or is it part of the general evaluation?
Toastmaster Hitendra, it is part of the general evaluation.
Okay.
Part of the entire segment.
Okay. So let's go through this. Let's see how many people were attentive and were listening to all the speeches, not only speeches, but also the other participants, whatever other speakers spoke on the spoke in this session today. So Toastmaster Brian, if you can take up your listener hat and go ahead, it will be great.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Okay, let's test and see how observant and how good we are at listening. Toastmaster Joseph Benedict mentioned, what was one of the causes for the delay in his project when he was remarking on his speech? What was one of the causes for the delay in the project?
Supply issues?
Anybody?
So was it supply issues?
Correct, material procurement. When was the first Women's Day celebration? What year?
1911.
1911, excellent. What was the name of the celebration of Women's Day in Michigan, USA? What was it referred to as? It's a flower, a Dutch flower.
Tulip.
Tulip, well done, well done. Okay, now Adarsh mentioned when you tell the truth, he mentioned a word. What does it do when you reveal the truth? What does it do to us?
Realistic, reality.
Yeah, it liberates us. And also, what do we learn from our mistakes? 2 words he mentioned, very appropriate words. It helps us to rethink and redesign. Now, Toastmaster Milland also mentioned the purpose of Toastmasters meeting. What is the main purpose, do you think? What did he mention? 3 words. Positive learning experience. Does anybody know what the water festival in Thailand is called? Anybody? It's called Songkran. Songkran. Yeah. Okay. Shushima, in her joke telling, mentioned about the kids being asked the name of the father and the mother. What was the name of the father? Do you remember?
Laughing. Tough
Correct.
smiling.
Absolutely. And the mother was smiling.
Smiling.
Right? What was the name of when Toastmaster Millen was mentioning about the oldest gentleman had died at the age of 104? What was his name? An Indian. I didn't get the name either.
Shankaracharya.
All right, brilliant. Yeah.
But
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, was that 104 years? I thought, okay, maybe I need to study a little bit further. Maybe I heard it.
Maybe I didn't have my listening ears on. But excellent, thank you very much. Those are some of the sentences that came up. Listening, obviously, you got to be attentive, and of course, for the role takers, you're trying to fill in your particular role, and you're trying to listen, and you're trying to get corrective words, etc. But it all helps us to improve in our speaking skills. I think the main thing is trying to avoid the fill-in words. That helps us a lot. Try not to use slang words, because that becomes, particularly for those of us who are trying to learn to speak English properly, avoid Americanisms, avoid the slang that they use. It's not English. It's something that they've inherited. Fill in words like, you know, hi guys, not very nice. Back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Brian. That was amazing. And you tested this club today, all attendees today, whether they were active listeners or not. And unfortunately, we couldn't answer a few things. So I feel we were not really active listeners today. So everybody needs to improve on that. Great. And your suggestions about listening to slang and all those were great, but just let's be a little bit sensitive in case we have some American person over here. Maybe that person will get offended usage of American language and all, hearing that thing. We should not use that. That's not English. That's probably, it may offend them. So in the spirit of Toastmasters, not to offend anyone, let's not call out any particular cultures or something. It's better to restrict ourselves to say not to use slang. So amazing session. The whole session, it was a learning today. I'm attending Speechweavers probably 4th or 5th time, and every time it's for the different experience. But the great thing about this club is the energy levels, and I'm really, I really commend you on your time management. I see most of the session is always, most of the times I've attended, it has been always on time. So great, and that's all from me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Adarsh. Thank you all.
Thank you for that, Toastmaster Hitendra. I truly don't regret bringing you back to the club. I was looking forward to bringing you back at some point. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And we look forward to see you back very soon. But right now, I'm going to hand it back to the president so that he can address everybody and provide us closing notes. Thank you very much. And back to you, Toastmaster Joseph.
Thank you, Adarsh, for the wonderful session you're leading, and it is really appreciated. I thank all the role takers, especially now Hitendra, the general evaluator. He gave us a very good feedback, and he was also praised our way of the session going on. Similarly, I thank also Brian Edwards for giving us the grammarian part of it, which is why everyone has to follow it. A lot of takeaway, I would say. So everyone has played a very good role, including the evaluation, the table topic speakers and the table topic master, all the role players. I really appreciate their role, and they have taken all the initiative, and the session went on very well because of them. I also thank all the guests who have attended today for their immense pleasure in attending Speechweavers meeting and gaining so many things from our session and our speeches and our evaluation. All this makes our club a great place to learn and live. Now it is time for the voting session, and during that time, I would like to ask some of the guests about their appraisal of our meeting today. Can anybody either from the guest or from the Toastmasters or from the role takers.
Yes, I would like to go first. First of all, I will introduce myself. I'm from Coke Toastmasters Club and I'm here first time. This is like great experience for me here for first time. I attended a half meeting, but when I attended, I was just feeling like why I am not attend for from start. So the way feedback comes from everyone's and the way the meetings was gone, and that was very amazing. I would like to come once again and take a role also. So thank you so much.
Most welcome, my dear guest. It is a very good way of liking and returning back once again. You are most welcome.
Sure. Thank you everyone.
And any more guests or Toastmasters?
Absolutely. Hi, this is Toastmaster Cyril Paul from BKC Fireflies, Mumbai. It was really heartening to be here today. The energy was very much palpable, just like General Evaluator Hitendra said. The language evaluator is something, I'm sorry, the listener is someone that it's a new animal for me too. And I think this is something that I'll take away with myself and will probably introduce this in our club. Kudos to all of you for doing such a brilliant job.
Thank you so much, Cyril Paul, Toastmaster Cyril Paul. Thank you so much. And you are always welcome anytime for our sessions. It will be an amazing session, every weekly meeting. It will be totally different from one meeting to the other meeting. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to it. I'll be back for soon.
Is there anybody else?
Sir, may I go, sir? Joseph, sir, this is Anita here.
Yes, Anita, okay. Go ahead.
Sir, it was such a brilliant learning experience because like what I became aware about is many times unknowingly out of sheer habit, how, I could bring in informality to the language, which is not as per the decorum. So personally, I felt like it was a brilliant learning session with a lot of takeaways for me. So super privileged to be here, sir. And I look forward to being called for more roles and so that I can take them up in an even more better way. And thank you so much. Very balanced evaluation by the general evaluator, Hitendra, and absolutely loved it. Thank you so much, Adarsh, for having me over.
Thank you, Anita Rao, for that wonderful words that you have spelled out on our meeting session. Thank you so much. You are almost welcome every meeting. We will send you the invitation. You are every time you are welcome, and you will really enjoy the difference in each meeting. Yes, Professor Brian, you would like to say something?
Yeah, just very briefly, I would like to thank Toastmaster Adarsh for his kind invitation, for asking me to join. I'm involved with quite a few Toastmasters in Tokyo, and I also belong to a speakers club here in Manchester. We meet every fortnight, and we follow a particular theme, which is not quite Toastmasters, but of course, with all English-speaking people here, the evaluation is quite harsh, and you learn to speak correct English very, very quickly, because we have some older generation people who won national contests and are very good public speakers. But thank you so much, Adarsh, for inviting me. Enjoyed it very much. Nice to see you all, and hopefully meet you all again. All the best, and my regards to my hometown of Bangalore. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Is the voters list is already there? Winners list or table topic? Others, is there any voting taken place or not?
Toastmaster Mayur, I hope the voting is going on. Toastmaster Mayur has already put up the voting link in the description if you didn't see. Please go ahead and cast your votes if you haven't already, and we'll announce the winners right away. Mayur, are you there right now?
Yeah. So
yes,
we have got 8 or 9 votes so far, and our attendance is double. So those who have not casted their votes, kindly cast their votes.
In the meantime, Joseph sir, very nice setup you have. The lectern with Speechweavers Toastmaster Club, that's nice. Is it at your home, or you have your regular hall where you?
No, this is actually, it was on board in our club called, where it was located in Weavers. So since we have to vacate that place, so I brought everything to my residence. Since it is a virtual meeting and it is no longer required there, until we get another place, it with me, and it will be handed over to the next officers if you want them to take on board or something like that. So I thought this is a good arrangement. Why we should not use these things, because it is a great Toastmasters emblem and this lantern and all those things. It is good for using for the meeting.
Nice setup. Liked it.
Usually nobody uses on online meetings so far, what I have seen.
Correct. Yeah, that's even my observation. So you're using, that's really great. I know some people, who have all this setup, but they don't use in online meetings at all. I hope we can start physical meetings soon.
Yeah.
Mayur, you can go ahead and announce the results.
Just a second. So the best supporting role goes to one second. Joke Master, Toastmaster Shushma. Congratulations. And the best auxiliary role goes to our counter Toastmaster Brian. Congratulations to you as well. And the best table topic speaker will goes to Toastmaster Cyrus. Congratulations. And the best role taker goes to Toastmaster Adarsh. Many congratulations to you. I didn't created votes for evaluator and speaker because we had only one speaker and one speech evaluator. And congratulations to all the table topic speaker as well as the role taker for taking part in the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mayur, for that announcement. Now, I would like to say that the meeting 6:55 is adjourned.